Hey, how's it going? Nick here with the next installment in the Complete Coach series. Today's video really spawned off of conversations I had last week and just kind of experiences that I've seen over the past couple of years. And today's topic is focused on reducing complexity and simplifying. So, a big challenge that a lot of coaches are running into is creating buy in, and that really shows in their retention rates. And so, I look at the retention side of things in a couple different capacities. So the first stage, this is more applicable to guided fitness coaches, is the free class format. All of our communities, they purchase classes for their residents, so they're free classes. So retention rate in terms of somebody coming to their first class and continuing to come back in the future. That's a pretty critical metric. So what is the retention rate there? The second stage or second option is the free first session. So how many people after that intro session purchase the second session? So whether it's free or not, how many people buy into that second session? And then the third one is more of a long-term retention rate, which this could be represented in a couple different ways. How I prefer to look at it, and what I found most effective, is looking at the month retention rate. So for those people that do buy into that second session and continue on, how many of them last past a month? For a lot of coaches, they're using training packages, maybe an intro package or whatever the case may be. How many people convert after that first package? How many people continue to purchase packages? The big challenge is a lot of coaches, if they look at those metrics and actually look at the hard numbers, for a lot of coaches, they're not great. They would like to have it higher. And one of the big variables that affects those percentage rates and getting clients to not only continue coming back, but continuing to come back for a longer period of time is the complexity that coaches are adding into those sessions and into their relationships with these clients. So due to this overthinking and unnecessary complexities through communication and the actual programming of sessions, coaches are in effect killing their businesses. So, more specifically, what do I mean with when I say complexities? One of those things, our common one, is the programming of the workouts. So especially for these free classes or even the initial session or two with a client, this could mean having too complex a movement, right? So if you're immediately throwing someone into a back squat or have them do a crazy sequence of steps, right? Or that could mean over the series of a workout, right? So maybe it's not an individual exercise, but a ton of movements put together or a variety of movements. So they never get a chance to actually learn a movement, right? Outside of the programming, it could be your communication. I don't know how many times I'll see coaches talking with a client and they're talking to the client as if they're a coach. They're using either very specific anatomy or physiology terms, and you can totally see that the client is lost. And so the communication flow is sometimes lost there. And then sometimes through the flow of the workout, through the complexity of the workout, the complexity of the conversation, having dead space can be awkward, especially for a lot of coaches that are newer to the industry. They're a little more self-conscious about their skill set. For those that just frankly feel uncomfortable with dead space, where no talking is happening, they'll try to fill the space with words and conversation, or even worse, they over cue. So, using a goblet squat, for example, you could give them 5 or 6 different cues about their weight distribution, where to move their hips, back position, what they should feel, all those different cues. It's an overload to the brain. And so a client can feel overwhelmed between the complexity of the workouts, the communication that doesn't really resonate with the clients, and then overloading them, right? Whether it's with information or cueing, you're essentially putting in all these barriers to keep them from wanting to continue on with you, and it ends up hurting your business. So, doing those sort of things, clients they're not going to connect with you, and that's probably the most important fact of especially those early sessions. You want them to connect with you. They want to feel invested with you and trust you. If you're overloading the workout with a variety of different moves where they never get a chance to master a move, clients can feel lost in that workout. It could also be, the workout could be too tough, especially if you're using a lot more complex moves. And then especially if you're overloading them with information, they may not understand the movements on that end. And so, especially for a lot of people, these are their first experiences working with a coach, first handful of times, more than likely. So they're already a little nervous. They're already lost. And then now if they're stumbling through a really complex workout, that's just building on this system of failure and making them feel like, man, this isn't for me. And that's the last thing you want to create, especially in those early sessions. And then on top of that, the communication flow, especially if you're dropping a lot of coaching jargon on them, you know, nobody likes working with an elitist. So as you've probably gathered, the solution to this is actually to simplify. So in terms of taking steps to simplify the experience, right? In terms of your programming, reduce the variety of moves. That's a great way to start. Another way is the particular moves that you are working with a client on, simplifying them, right? Don't start with a very complex move. Start with the baseline move of it, right? And then on top of that, how you piece the workouts together, right? You think about trying to build a workout that's not only educational, benefits the client in terms of reaching their goals, but something that they're building success on, not only throughout that workout, but workouts heading into the future. You need to make them feel successful. They want to feel successful at what they're doing. So they'll find things to critique themselves on. Everybody's really good at that. But if you can build a workout where they feel successful, that's huge. And then outside of putting them in a position to succeed is essentially dumbing down your communication. So you don't need to impress them. That they're not going to understand, for most, they're not going to understand a lot of the nuances to coaching. Not everybody's a fitness enthusiast or a certified coach. So, stick straight to the point. A great example was Pete DePease with Cressy Performance. They work primarily with Major League Baseball players. And a great quote he had was saying, hey, when they're marketing to athletes, the baseball players, they just want to be able to stay healthy and throw harder. They don't care that you're using the top arm techniques for programming. So keep it to the points that they care about. And then during the workout itself, keep it connected to where they're eventually going. Keep the communication simple, stay on point, and then make sure to empathize with them. Kind of goes along the elitist realm and whatnot. Not everybody is perfect. We've all failed and continue to fail. So listening to them and understanding the challenges that they're going through.